Hello, Rahul. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm audible. I'm Neha Khatkar, Marketing Manager at NextGen Innovate, and your host for today. I welcome you all for today's event, the Budget Dialogue, a webinar on key highlights and reflections of Union Budget 2023. So, Rahul, next slide, please. Yeah, I would like to thank our partners for today, our community partners, ASMA, Digital HR, SMX, ADMH, our knowledge partner, ASM Group of Institutes. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I will quickly take this moment to introduce NextGen Innovate and move forward to our webinar today. So we at NextGen Innovate believe in promoting dialogues through various conclaves and summits where industry leaders, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and government stakeholders share their expertise and insights on latest trends and technologies that have the potential to reform industries and communities around the world. We recognize and honor are leaders around the world who have worked effortlessly to solve challenges facing industries, communities to make them grow and transform. NextGen innovatives and our communities hold strong presence in different industries and continue to thrive for the acceleration of digitization and adoption of technologies in the field of education, which is our community with ASMA, then in the field of entrepreneurship, which is the community I'm talking here is SMX, and the field of healthcare, ADMH, and in the field of human resources, community we are talking here is digital HR. Uh, we bring together industry leaders, corporates, educationalists, government stakeholders, decision makers, policymakers, and HR professionals to share new ideas, promote innovations, and develop business opportunities to grow and transform. Uh, I will now quickly introduce Dr. Sandeep Paspande, and I'll request him to welcome and open the floor for discussions. Just give me a moment. I will introduce Dr. Paspande. Yeah. Dr. Sandeep Pachpande is chairman of ASM Group of Institutes, Pune. He is an academician, entrepreneur, technopreneur, mentor, agriculturist, and a visionary. He brings a multifaceted business sense and a vision to provide global standards of education combined with the strength of industry exposure. Dr. Pachpande has done his senior executive leadership program from the Harvard Business School, Boston, USA. He also holds a PhD from the University of Pune and he is an MBA topper from Leeds Metropolitan University, UK. He also has a B in computers. He is a PhD research guide and is frequently invited by university, industry, and associations from around the world to deliver keynote addresses, chair sessions, and share his vision about education. Apart from education, Dr. Patwande invests in the startups and is an entrepreneur in the field of software, horticulture, and real estate development. He has also authored many books on a wide range of subjects. I request Dr. Pachpande to share a welcome note and open the floor.
Thank you very much, Neha, and a very good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the Budget Dialogue, a webinar on the key highlights and the reflections of the Indian Union Budget 23-24. I'm honored to extend a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Mr. Prem Singh, our very good friend, Vishal Thakkar, who's going to be moderating the event. My other friend from the academic side, Dr. Manpreet, Manna, Dr. Runa, Maitra, Mr. Sanjay, Sarda, and Mr. Mahantesh, and everyone attending this session from all corners, and especially all the students who are attending this particular session from the ASM group. Today, we have gathered to discuss one of the most eagerly awaited events of the year, the Union Budget. Actually, it was more eagerly awaited earlier because it used to be on my birthday. So no one used to forget my birthday. But nowadays, the date has changed. The joke aside, the budget has far-reaching impacts on various industries, the startup ecosystem, individuals, and is very crucial for us to understand and stay updated on the changes and its implication. It is almost a reflection of aspirations and values. In the words of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it is a plan for progress, prosperity, and better life for all our citizens as such. This webinar, I think, will provide a platform to delve into the key highlights of the budget and reflect how it will impact the different industries. We have got an amazing panelist who will share their valuable insights. And as I was talking earlier with some of the panelists, there are so many hidden gems or internal things in the budget which we need to understand and which the experts can bring out from the discussions in this panel. Overall, I think this budget gives a push to employability readiness in the youth, the direct benefit transfer schemes, the national applications schemes, which will impact over 47 lakh youths, which looks very, very promising as such. The setting up of 100 labs in engineering institutions will help graduates to be ready and build applications in the 5G stack. Focus on smart classrooms will help us to take advantage of the metaverse and immersive learning. Overall, I think it should help India to release its demographic dividend and inclusive development. As you know, most of all must be knowing that India has surpassed China to be the most populous country in the world now. And I believe that education is the only way in which we can convert this population into a proper workable human resource as such. This budget, I think, does a very good job of addressing existing skills the deficit, the gap between the industry and the institutes, whereby empowering the youth through a two-pronged approach of employment generation and simultaneous upskilling. The emphasis on aligning the courses with the industry expectations and demand, I think, is the best way forward to prepare future and industry-ready students, something what we have been very proud and doing at ASM from the last whole decade. If you talk about the startup sector, I think there is a special focus to the startups. The creation of Agriculture Accelerator Fund, I think, is a very bold move in driving innovation and creating more jobs for youth in the country. The startup space will also get a good boost from the extension of the tax holiday, which is expected to increase the cash flows. However, it also has brought foreign investors under the ambit of the angel tax, which creates a bit of uncertainty and fear in the mind of Indian entrepreneurs and investors as such. With the global economic climate in the flux, I think giving additional impetus to entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem that drives our economy growth is very crucial and critical. While the whole world is almost bracing for a slowdown, I think India is looked at the bright spot, which can have very good growth and probably where the investments can flow in as such. So this, I think, this session is a great opportunity for us to learn from the best, network from like-minded professionals, and understand the nuances and of the budget and how it's going to affect everyone. I'm confident this will be an eye-opener and excellent learning opportunities for everyone. I once again welcome you all to this session. Thank you. You're muted, Neha.
Sorry, yeah. Thank you, Dr. Pachpande, for this warm welcome note. This has surely set up the stage for today's webinar. I will now like to call upon my colleague, Mr. Nenish Deshpande, Head of Communities and Events, to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Prem Singh. Over to you, Mr. Nenish.
Thank you, Neha. I would like to take the opportunity to welcome our keynote speaker for the budget dialogue, a webinar on key highlights and reflections, Union Budget 2023-24. Mr. Prem Singh is a seasoned HR professional. He's a president Group HR, Group CHRO JK organization with over 30 years of experience, including 27 years in India and 3 years abroad. Mr. Prem Singh currently serves as the president of Group HR, CHRO at JK organization in New Delhi, where he leads the HR functions and provides strategic directions for transforming HR as a future-ready business eddy. With over 50,000 employees at more than 100 locations, JK organization has interests in diverse sectors such as tires, paper, cement, agri-genetics, engineering, dairy, snacks, risk insurance, education, and health. Mr. Prem Singh holds additional responsibilities as a member of the management team and the academic council at JK Lakshmipat University, and as a coordinator of the directors and senior executives council. Mr. Singh is a certified black belt in Six Sigma, an accredited trainer with All India Management Association, and an executive coach certified by Marshall Goldsmith and trained as a strength coach by Gallup. Mr. Singh has been recognized with several awards for his contributions to the field of HR, including the Seasoned HR Leader Award by the National HRD Network, Top 50 HR Minds by CHRO Asia, Dronacharya Award by Achievers Club, and Pride of HR Award by the Top Rankers Management Club. With such a huge details, I request Mr. Prem Singh to deliver his valuable keynote for our webinar. Over to you, Mr. Prem Singh.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Well, when you were reading my introduction, I was just wishing that my wife and my children were also around, so they could also hear all these wonderful words, because at times they don't believe all this. And in fact, just to share with you it a lighter note, the other day I was reading this beautiful book, From Smart Manager to Wise Manager. And my daughter comes to me and she asks, Dad, what is it that you are reading? I said, well, it's a nice book, From Smart Manager to Wise Manager. And then here comes the answer. She says, come on, Dad, just forget it. You are neither smart nor wise. So thank you so much once again for that wonderful introduction. So firstly, my compliments to the organizing team for organizing this very apt discussion, the budget dialogue. Why it's important? And I want to bring a very contrarian thought right in the beginning. You see, let's go back into the history. When we talk about budget, the most commonly used word that all of us, including the finance minister, all the ministers, all the bureaucrats, all the economists will talk about is GDP, gross domestic product. Now, GDP as a concept was rooted at the end of 18th century. Just imagine 1780s, that was the time when this concept was introduced. From that time onwards, so many hundreds of budgets, so many hundreds of plans would have been presented by each of the government globally across the world. But unfortunately, this definition of GDP has not yet changed. And I want to start really with a very humble submission. And I believe that the thought leaders present in this forum would also take it up with the appropriate authorities in the government or with the powers that be. In addition to the financial parameters, in addition to the financial metrics, it's high time that we also spoke about human capital. The whole concept, the whole notion of the budgeting, planning is too much centered about only the financials. Actually, financials is an outcome that we seek to achieve, or we may have achieved in the past. What is most important, perhaps, is the human quotient, the human capital that drives all these numbers. And I may sound to be a little biased because I come from HR background myself. And Runa, who is a dear friend, she would agree with me that perhaps human capital is one of the most fundamental aspects that needs to be included in the whole budgeting scheme. So that's one point I like to make at the outset. Now, getting into the budget, there are 5-6 trends that one would see as a constant theme. And this is happening for last 4 or 5 years. Number one, the government of India is talking about Bharat as a Viksit Desh. Fast forward 2047, Bharat as a Viksit Desh, and keeping that as the outcome in mind, drive everything to reach that goal. Number one. Number two, for the first time, there is a very strong focus on leveraging your demographic dividend. You know, India as a country is a very young country. The average age is just 29 years. And the population being that young, that gives enormous competitive advantage to the whole country. And for the right reasons, I think the government has rightly focused upon developing, skilling, training this youth for the benefit of developing entrepreneurship in the country. Point number three, for the very first time, there has been, and it's happening for the last 2-3 years at least, there is enormous amount of focus on digital. Well, just to give you a little sense, there was a study by Forbes, and they said that by 2025, the size of the digital economy globally is likely to be around $3 trillion. $3 trillion is a very large number. India is going to play a significant role, and in fact, it is estimated that in next 2 to 3 years' time, all the jobs that will be created around digital, electronics, high-end IT applications, high-end nodes applications, IoT 4 applications, those jobs would amount to something close to 10 million in next 2 to 3 years' times. These numbers are quoted by government sources. Point number 4, very much embedded in the whole ecosystem of digital and technology and powered by the youth, there is enormous amount of focus, and I applaud the government for this initiative to drive a lot of gig working entrepreneurship in the country and trying to focus quite a lot on skilling, reskilling, and education. You would recall that last year, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had spoken about the digital university to be established. That was last year. I'm sure this year the focus is further strengthening around developing the digital ecosystem. Why it's important for India as a country? Just imagine 29 years as the average age of the country, 1.4 billion people, the most populous nation in the world, the large number of youth entering into the job market. What we need to do is engage these large number of people into several opportunities of entrepreneurship. And that is where the gig working comes in. And I'm quite happy and quite hopeful to note that based upon one projection of the Niti Aayog, by 2030, there are going to be close to 25 million jobs that are going to be created only through the gig working. That's a great news. By about 25, I think this number is going to be around 4.5-5 million jobs. So this number, I wouldn't be surprised if this number is achieved much before the target date. Next point, which you would see, and I have been observing it for last 3-4 years, the whole focus on green energy, clean energy, sustainability, and making sure that the planet, when we leave the planet, we leave it better for the next generations to come. Well, sustainability is no longer a fad. It's no longer just a utopia. It's no longer a buzzword. I think it's a reality. And sooner we realize, better it is for all of us. In fact, I want to give a statistics for the benefit of everyone. About 2 months ago, my team conducted a survey on about thousands of school children. I repeat, about thousands of school children. The students who are studying in 9th class, 10th class, 11th class, and 12th class. Why? Because we wanted to understand as to what their thought processes, what they think of future, what kind of organizations would they like to work for, and what they value. Concerned to the point of sustainability, as many as 41% of them said, I would like to work for a company which believes and focuses diligently on the environmental preservation. They did not use the buzzwords like sustainability. They did not use the words like green. They didn't use the word like SDG or ESG, but they spoke about environment, 41% people. There were many other elements in that survey, which I'll talk about slightly later. But the point I'm driving home is sustainability or green is a crying need, not only for us, but our next generation is crying, is cajoling, is pleading to all of us. And I really welcome that there has been a significant focus on this piece. Finally, quite often we use the buzzword of experience, employee experience, customer experience, and very often we all say the experience economy has really arrived, and I completely agree with that. You know, if you look at the evolution of the economy, we had agrarian economy. From agrarian, then we shifted to industrial economy, then oil economy, then data or IT economy or digital economy. Now we are really transitioning into experience economy. And guess what? If you carefully watch and listen to the speech of the finance minister yesterday, there was a lot of focus on simplification, ease of doing business, simplifying the procedures. So learning for us is, as industry, I think we got to keep pace with that. And we need to ask an honest question to ourselves: how much do we really focus on creating unparalleled customer experience or outstanding employee experience, which drives customer experience? These are very important questions we all need to deliberate. I'm sure the learned panelists will focus on some of these important questions. Experience, making sure that the simplification drives a seamless experience for all the stakeholder. I think that is another key message which was driven by the finance minister. Finally, I think if you look at the whole concept of Saptarishi, which the finance minister started with, you know, there is whole sense of balance, balanced development in economic terms, in skill terms, in social terms, the balanced development of youth, women, the balanced focus on education, higher education, elementary education, skilling, training, all of that. If you look at the entire ecosystem, I think it gives a very strong message of keeping a balanced focus. And at this point in time, I like to talk about one simple concept: why balance is important. You know, you see the pendulum, the concept of pendulum that we learned in the 8th class. Pendulum, it goes from one extreme to the other extreme. And once it goes to the extreme, its velocity becomes 0. Then it goes to the other extreme. And on the other extreme, again, its velocity becomes 0. When it is at the center, that is where it is running the fastest. Meaning, when lot of ecosystems, lot of elements of the entire ecosystem are operating in a balanced manner, in an equilibrium manner, when there is a nice equilibrium of all of these elements, that is where there is a sense of balance. And that is where all the elements will be running the fastest, like the pendulum. I think in an overall sense, there is a strong focus on the balance, which is a welcome news. I only would make a comment. Perhaps the spend on the education, spend on the health, perhaps government could have laid a slightly higher focus in terms of budgetary allocation. You know, in developing countries like us, education, it would really augur very well if it received at least 3 to 4% of the total allocation. But anyway, there is always a debate on these points. I would not like to get into a lot of those details. Overall, I see this as a very progressive, very futuristic, extremely India-centric or Bharat-centric budget, which is a great news. All we have to do as industry, as academia, is make sure that we leverage the provisions to the maximum potential that it offers. And I think all of us will stand to gain from all of this. Great budget, outstanding opportunities in front of all of us to make sure that we really leap into Viksit Bharat in next couple of years. With this, I once again compliment all my all the organizers. I recognize all the distinguished panelists on this panel. Compliments to all of you. Thank you for joining. And I wish a great learning session ahead to everyone. Thank you. All the best. Namaskar. And I would seek your permission to leave because I need to get into the next meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again.
Thank you, Prem.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Prem. Mr. Nanish, would you like to thank Mr. Prem? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir, for your insightful thoughts. And now for the wonderful speech, the details which you have presented in your keynote, I would like to thank you for joining the budget dialogue. Looking forward to connect with you for the further discussions and in our next events. Thank you. And now over to you, Neha, to take the event further.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Prem. Thank you, Nani sir. Moving forward, I would like to now introduce our panelists and our moderator for the panel. I will quickly tell the introductions about the members on the panel. Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna, he is Pro Vice Chancellor, former Director AICTE, Chandigarh University. Ms. Runa Maitra, she's founder and Director of People Talent International. Mr. Sanjay Sarda, he's co-founder, Growth 91, Director Growth Sense, Virtual CEO, and Independent Director at Suyog Telematics Limited. Mr. Mahantesh, he is MRICS Director and Head of Operations at Shapoorji Pallonji Investment Advisors Private Limited. Our moderator for today is Mr. CA Vishal Thakkar. He is author and speaker and CEO at Simplifynance. Over to you, panel members, and I'd like to request our moderator, Mr. Vishal, to open the floor for discussions and the panel today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neha, for that wonderful introduction. And I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to moderate this esteemed panel. I'm sure since yesterday, we have had our wows and ohs on the budget. And I would like to quickly deep dive into picking each one of your brains into what is your first reaction when it came out and when you heard the budget speech and you came to know about the changes. So I would like to start capturing reactions with Dr. Maitra first. So would you like to, let me know what's your reaction on the budget?
Thank you, Vishal, and thanks to the entire organizing committee. It's an amazing, first of all, topic ahead of time in terms of the deliberation in the industry. And I would say that it's also a great opportunity to assimilate from yesterday's conversation and how we are actually absorbing. I love the way you talked about R's and O's and all the expression. Honestly, that's exactly is happening around in network. Today morning, I had been very lucky to organize a roundtable of CHROs, and there were 20 CHROs, luckily in Leela. And they were not talking about the topic which they were supposed to, which was engagement and outcome. They're more interested in discussing budget. And that was a welcome change in the HR community. So I love the way Prem brought the eyeball from budget being deliberated by finance community to actually looking into how human resource segment who are responsible for giving the great experience within organization. Also, so much is done outside the organization by HR community. I think HR is definitely thinking as a functional aspect. So the first thing, why did I say that? Sure, when we are talking about, our finance minister giving us the first budget, I love the terminology she has used, Amrit Kal. So when we are talking about Amrit Kal and Prem talked about, the experiences Bharat and lot many points he mentioned, I think somewhere the, highlight on the experience of human capital he mentioned, and I would say the entire people community. And which, if you look at this amalgamation of speakers, we are representing absolutely different verticals. We have some, Manpreet ji, you must know that I'm a big fan of yours. I've been listening to you in many forums. So he's a great stalwart in academia. We have experts from, in fact, business community and also subject matter expert. I probably represent gig community because I am someone who understands the aspect. So what I'm trying to say that if you look at the whole context setting and the what I loved about the whole spread, right from when we talk about the finance management, I'm not getting into the investment part of it and how you look into, GDPs and fiscals. I'm talking about the people side of it. So we are looking at that, how job creations will be done, how, skill is going to be more and more focused. And we're bridging the gap between academia and corporate. We are talking about also highlighting mental health. So the healthcare community is coming forward. Yes, post-pandemic, that has been an area human resource, managers had been looking into. So how we are talking about green, how we are talking about, the whole context setting for allowing counseling. I think, and also, I'm sorry if my background is dark. It's always the, Murphy's Law today. Suddenly the electricity at home is gone and, inverter is not working. So sorry about that, but I'm sure I can continue my discussion. So I think there is a lot of highlights which is coming. And one thing which is apparent as a vibe is a positive vibe. Like Prem's talked about, it's a progressive budget. So people are actually excited. Otherwise, last few budgets, we've seen a lot of cynicity. Whereas here we're talking about, it is exciting. It is something we are looking forward to. We want to know more. I think that's probably my first reaction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I request Mr. Mali also to give his reaction, given the investment size that you represent at SP? So I had an opportunity to talk to your business leaders in October as they flew down to Mumbai. So yeah, very close to my heart. Tell me, Mr. Mali, what is your reaction to the budget?
I think, they have really done a great job in acknowledging right from the soil to the space, So if you look at, they've considered millet this thing as a part of agriculture development. So from there to space, so they have budgeted for everything. And from real estate perspective, I see there is a huge impetus in infrastructure, which is about 10 lakh crores, which is almost 66% higher than the 33% higher than the last year. So, I mean, this is a blessing in disguise for real estate, because once the infrastructure grows, it creates so much of employment, connectivity, communication. The whole lot of changes, logistics, the whole lot of development is going to revolve around infrastructure. And with that, the new investments also will come in, because as we speak today, because of COVID, or prior to that, even the Western world is hardly growing by 1 to 2%. So for them to invest, India is the place. And with new investment and demography at the age group of about 29-30, so India is the place to go for, and we all have a great future, is what I look forward to.
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Sarda. I would like to extend the same question to you as to what was your reaction when you saw the budget first yesterday.
Thank you, Vishal, for giving this opportunity. See, basically, when we see the budget speech, I mean, we observe a lot of things. I mean, we cannot be the expert in everything. So we see reactions of other people, what they are reacting, how they are reacting, to see the real picture behind it. So if you might have noticed, I mean, usually there is a lot of disturbances in the parliament floor when the budget speech is presented. This year, relatively, the disturbance was much, much less, or maybe almost negligible. So basically, that says that either the budget was too good, or there was nothing controversial presented, or something. I mean, it was very, very safe. Like, I mean, they played safe, not touching anything or disturbing anybody, or maybe tried to satisfy everyone. Generally, that is a very kind of risky situation. But overall, what I would say, I mean, they have not done any disturbing things. That is one good thing. But definitely bold steps were missing. I mean, so routine, like, I mean, increase in infrastructure spend by 20-30%, or some agri loans by some 10-15%. That is like a routine thing. But like, I mean, real bold steps were missing, probably considering 2024 elections. And that's how there was a silence everywhere, and people were having fun. Of course, other thing, like, I mean, some rebates and all these things were extended to taxpayers. That was again a kind of gimmick. I mean, people are very happy about it, but really speaking, I mean, like, I mean, increasing from 5 lakh to 7 lakh or kind of thing, but there are tricks there. So like, I mean, you have to move to a new tax regime. So technically, I mean, how many people are actually there in new tax regime? Very, very few. So remaining all taxpayers, they are not going to get anything. So it's again, like, I mean, people will feel good about it, but while really filing the returns, they will not get anything. I mean, the benefit of 10, 15, 20,000 is not going to really change the life of any middle class. But the feel good factor is there. But at the same time, one good thing they did is they definitely reduced the tax of super HNIs. So that was really disturbing thing, especially who earns more. I mean, like, this tax rate was more than 40%. That was very, very high. And that was something, a small reduction in that at the top slab tax bracket was good. And the other things, yes, I mean, the startups and all, I mean, everything, what to summarize, like, I mean, they did not disturb anything. Whatever policies were decided before 4 years, on the same line, it was continued. And that's why it was liked by industry or everybody, that, I mean, there are no ups and downs. I mean, everybody knew the direction last year. That direction we are continuing. Only thing, we have pressed the accelerator a little bit more, so that now we can go faster on that same track. So which is really well taken and very nicely done. That was my first probably observation on the budget.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Manpreet Singh, yes, this I would also like to ask you, what did you feel when the fine print came out and when you saw the budget?
Yeah, first of all, most of the speakers, they have covered the aspects of this budget. And of course, I can say in 2-3 lines, yes, it's a true Amrit Kal budget. I can say it's a true Amrit Kal budget. It's a positive, it's a vibrant, progressive, and all above, it's realistic. Sometimes we feel the government near to, election year, other ways, they put up the lot many bullets to just give a lucrative look. And when we are going to be say it's implementable, it's a big question mark. So in this budget, the reality is there. If you see very minutely, end of the day, government have given some relaxation in the tax slabs. Very, my co-panelists very smartly mentioned about this. The collection of the tax remains same, because we already have balanced through the other ways than we have given this relaxation. So it does mean that we are not going to disturb our Atmanirbhar Bharat mission, the manufacturing, the agriculture. And at the same time, what's the most of the Indians link budget with the tax. Last 3 years, oh sir, what budget? No tax slab change, nothing about tax. The whole budget was blank, something. But if you see, the budget is not only for the tax. Of course, tax is one of the major component. I do accept it. But at the same time, in the lieu of the tax collection, what we are giving to the railways, what we are giving from the soil to the satellite, that makes sense. If you're talking something about the airports, you're talking something about the hospitals, you're talking something about the nursing colleges, you're talking something about the Center of Excellence for the Artificial Intelligence, it does really make sense. You're talking accelerators, 8% hike in a higher education budget. It really makes sense. That is going to be 1.12 lakh crore of rupees, because we are going towards the digital mode. We have to have the clouds. We have to have the digital setup. We are talking about the NDU, that is the National Digital University. So this budget is in that way progressive. And another way, in a single line, I can say, I think it is going to be a model budget for the many other countries to follow. Although their geographic conditions are different, their economic conditions are different, but they are going to follow because it's an Amrit Kal budget. It's not Indian, it's Amrit Kal budget, which is what. That's what I want to say.
Very nicely put. Very nicely put, Dr. Singh. Now I'm going to make the panelist life a little difficult by asking a tough question. Okay. My next question, you have to answer only in 3 words. Okay. Not a single word more. So 3 words. Okay. Tell me, we'll start with Mr. Mali this time. Tell me, what are the top 3 takeaways? You have to say 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Top 3 takeaways from this budget for salaried, self-employed, and students. Your top 3 takeaways.
No, for salaried, it is a disposable income. For self-employed, it is the lower tax. And for the students, a lot of skill upskilling projects.
Okay, great. What about you, Dr. Maitra? 3 words.
Yep. I would say inclusivity is very welcome.
Okay, her internet stopped, I think. Okay, we'll come back to her once she rejoins. Let's go to Mr. Sarda. This is like coffee with Vishal. 3 words, rapid fire. Key takeaways.
So, for professionals, the small increase, I mean, of this presumptive taxation bracket from 50 lakh to 75 lakh, that could give a good relief. I mean, number-wise also it's good, and percentage-wise also significantly good. And for salaried, I already mentioned, I mean, a small chocolate is given. I mean, they can enjoy a couple of chocolates for the kids with this. And third one, what do you ask?
Students.
Students, I could not see any very specific thing. Probably I might have missed, but yes, I mean, skilling, there was some focus, but fine print we need to see.
Okay, great. Yes, Dr. Singh, 3 words.
I'll start from the student's point of view. And
Yes.
there is a hidden fruits out of it. Have you noticed that what basically the students today talking about something? Cell phones, talking about the gadgets, talking about the laptop, what kind of the battery you are going to buy. And see, this is the reduction in the lithium cell, and see, there is a reduction in the screening. Without screen, what kind of education you're talking? Today is everything Digi Vidya. And this is what for the students take away, because students are not asking for the slabs for the, my income is this, my income is that. That is the papa's call. That is the mama's call. That is Dadi's call. The students are looking something, what kind of the accessories, and make in India. I'm not talking the Chinese product to become over here. Make in India, we have reduced it drastically. So let the students do it. Now I'll come to the salaried. If you're salaried today, you always think I should do something tomorrow because when I'm going to be retired, nobody will look to me. See how big relief to the retirees, the pensioners. Don't worry, don't go for the corruption side. Your money is a safe money, you will get a good benefit. And Nari Shakti, immediately, the last word, Nari Shakti, Mahila ko samman de diya aapne. The extraordinary percentage relief through this. And MSI scheme, almost double 15 lakh rupees for the joint family. Amazing. This is what my pensioners, this is what my salary people, they think about their old age system. So this is a relief. This is what I just want to add.
Superb, superb. Again, extremely well answered, Dr. Singh. No wonder you have fan following here and everywhere else. So let me go to my third question. Okay. Now it's a different question. I mean, it's not a routine question that you would encounter in a budget webinar, but let me give it a shot. We'll start with Mr. Sarda this time. What should an individual do for his personal economics this year? Matlab, ghar ka budget. Should he spend? Should he save? Or should he invest? Now, please answer this based only on the current budget outcomes, Mr. Sarda.
Okay, I mean, you have limited everything with the last sentence. Like, I mean, it has to be answered with the last thing. So, I mean, basically, although not good, but if you have a lady in the household, I mean, you can definitely take benefit of this 2 lakh rupees, what you can invest with a good interest rates. If you have senior citizens, I mean, you can increase your savings there. Of course, I mean, there are other impact on economy because of this. I mean, negative impacts on economy because of this. But yes, if you just look for yourself, I mean, you can invest in that.
Okay, so you say that the buzzword is invest. Government wants you to invest this year.
Yeah,
What's your view?
so basically, see what I understood. I mean, government tried to increase the repo rates and all the interest rates and all these things to control the inflation and other global economic pressures. We have already reached that upper limit. I mean, we are almost reaching that upper limit. I mean, there is very limited scope now to increase there. So this is another way to pull out the capital from the liquidity from the market by giving opportunities to citizens to invest. So the moment people invest somewhere, because these are lucrative investment options, liquidity will be sucked out of the market, and that will help in controlling inflation. And naturally, while controlling inflation, there will be some dip in the economic growth. But that's what government is planning to do to control it.
Yes, Mr. Mali, what's your view? Are we spending, saving, or investing?
I would like to do all three. So, because with the new tax regime, there is no fixity. I mean, like you can choose to spend the money the way you want. So I think at this point of time, you have a little bit for everything. So you can spend, you can save and invest, as well as you should invest in upskilling yourself. So I think that's an important thing going forward. So I would want to do all three.
Great answer. What about you, Mrs. Dr. Maitra? Welcome back. I'll repeat question for your benefit. What should an individual do for his personal economics this year based on the current budget outcomes? Should he or she spend? Should he save? Or should he or she invest?
I would talk more from the corporate acumen and as also a lot of, upliftment of gig workers. I think people will be little apprehensive in terms of how things will change, because there is next election on the card. So we should not expect any drastic change in terms of behavior. People would definitely, as it's all the whole ecosystem is very progressive, they'll be looking up to probably a newer face. So there is a hope, but at the same time, people would be cautious because they would like to see the sustenance.
Okay, I think that's a very balanced kind of an answer from your side. Thank you so much. And yes, coming to you, Dr. Singh, should we spend, save, or invest?
Of course, you see, when I said progressive budget does mean that investment is number one. Why to save? Saving is because of your medical. They have already given you the medical policies with all linked with the saving accounts. And spending is another part. This is the call from the current government. They always say, do spend because then only we will be prosperous. It's the exchange of the economy, exchange of the transactions. Investment is end of the day, it's a saving only. You're investing in a mutual funds, you're investing in a real estate, you're investing in a SEBI, you're investing in an NSC. Of course, end of the day, it's your cake which you're going to be come back in a biggest way. Of course, in putting in NPS is again investment nowadays. It is an investment only, not a saving. So saving word has been, I think, now converted to the investment, and of course spending, because the government is looking for your health and other kind of way. Thank you.
Great. So my last question for the esteemed panel today, and we will start with Dr. Maitra again. I want to have your final words on why and how budget continues to get impacted by global politics and in turn impacts the lives and the livelihoods of people in India.
So my definitely reaction would be your question that we know way back we have become global people. So why always thinking about only India? First of all, look at the MNCs around. Most of our friends, colleagues, family members are working for multinationals. And when we create any policies or any newer elements in the organization reflecting on the budget, we always take care of that, how it will impact our global policy. So if you're looking at within organization or outside organization, highly impacted by your local and global economy, that is somewhere I would relate, because when it comes to human resource policies, we are always careful about how we are designing compensation, how we are enabling the our employees towards managing their expenses or savings, how they're going to how it's going to help. So there's a lot of confusion about this new regime and old regime. Honestly, we are absolutely looking forward, because while we will go back to the corporate world, people are going to ask the question, especially to HR department, how should you manage this? So I think when we're talking about political situation, of course, it is very much linked with economy, and it has an impact on the business. And when we're talking business, people are the one who are actually enabling the business. So I'm giving a perspective about that, how human resource managers would be looking at it from global and local standpoint. So definitely there is always a impact on it. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Maitra. Wonderful answer. Yes, Mr. Sarda, I would like to quiz your mind that how global politics impacts our budget and how that in turn impacts our lives and our livelihoods in India.
It's a complex question, actually. I mean, yes, but we are living into the global world. So naturally, we have to see all the things, international relations and everything. So global politics definitely impacts up to certain limits. But I believe, like in last 5-10 years, India has improved its global position significantly, that these kind of impacts are reduced drastically. Probably now there are very few people or few countries who can influence the India's budget and influence the policies. Now we can firmly say and decide our policies. That situation probably we have achieved or improving our position there. So that way there is very less impact. But otherwise, when we say other impact other than political, so economic global impact is definitely there on the budget. Since last 8-10 months, almost every economist or everybody is talking about possibility of recession. We don't know when it will come, whether it will come or will not come. But global recession I'm talking, and everybody is talking recession, even if it comes, India will be less impacted based on the numbers and data and all these things. But we have to be cautious while playing all these things, preserve our capital, resources, deploy it effectively. And that's what has to be taken care in the budget. And some of these aspects, I believe, these are already, you can see from the yesterday's budget speech.
Thank you, Dr. Sarda, for a very, very matured and a balanced answer. Let's go to Mr. Mali. With businesses across the world in infrastructure space, how do you think global politics impacts us and our livelihoods?
I'll just give a small example. So, you have heard such a large boundary across the country. On the northern side, you are covered by Pakistan, you got covered by China, and the southern side, you have got coastal region. So wherein you need to spend a lot on your security. So that's where because you need to have a huge defense budget. So once you have huge defense budget, so you need to have that much more collection from your taxpayers, right? And your import, export, forex, fiscal deficit. So all of it is interrelated. So if your dollar rate goes up, so your forex reserves come down. So it's so interconnected. So everything that happens around the world will definitely impact each and every moment of ours. So today, if you look at even our upskilling is need of the hour, considering what's happening outside the world. It's all because of geopolitical, because their demography is not as young as ours. So if we don't upskill, we'll not be having a competitive advantage. So which means that our real estate, our consumption pattern, so everything is dependent on that, and everybody wants to come to India for that particular reason, right? So I think so we need to be cognizant of what's happening outside world so that we are ahead of the curve. And as it is, we have a enough deficit. So as we speak, we have about 6% deficit, fiscal deficit, so which we need to bridge it and bring it down further, right? Even revenue deficit there is. So I think these are which sort of liabilities which we need to overcome over a period of time. Only when we have a strong youth skills. So this is going to make us strong. So I think everything that is happening around is impacting our budget. And that's how, what we need to apportion to what sector depends on what's happening outside.
Great. I think that's a fabulous answer. Dr. Singh, we come to you to understand how global politics impacts our budget and in turn our lives and livelihood.
For the global economy, I just read out the capital outlay investment has been increased by 33% to rupees 10 lakh crore. And same time, one more line, the new tax regime has for the highest surcharge rate reduced 37% to 25%. And at any cost, 39% is the last. I think it is a message, a clear message to the worldwide. One way we are encouraging the investment by the big tycoons if they would like to become. And same time, we are not going to put a burden for the surcharge as they to be have earlier. So it means sabka saath, sabka vikas. The concept is very simple because sometimes it is a feel come with a common person. We are creating a capitalism in the budget. We are making other way in the budget. I think it's a clear message. Started from the grassroots level, started from the farmer. Very first pitch is from the farmer, then going till to the MNCs, the corporates, of course, who are the most taxpayers in our country, through which we are going to see the smart cities or similar kind of the concepts. We have to honor them also. We have to respect them also in any way. So this is what it is a balance, and that's what it shows. It has to be pitch the international market as well as to be inviting in India. That's it.
So, okay. I think now comes the toughest part for me because I have to summarize what the panel said about the budget, and I'm going to put my best foot forward. I feel that the panel says that this budget is a fabulous budget. It's a balanced budget. Government wants us to invest more, maybe spend more. At the same time, government has put across a tone that we are not just going to show things on paper, but whatever we are committing, we will execute and show it to you before the next election so that we have some face to show when we come to ask for a vote. Which means that as a panel, collectively, we feel if we have to assign one word to this budget of 23-24 presented by Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji, we would call it as a truly an Amritkal budget, or in English, you would put it as a progressive budget. What astounds me as a moderator of this panel is that the 7 pillars or the Saptarishis that has been brought out and the holistic development of the country, wherein there has not been a single person who is not addressed in the budget, and none of the stakeholders have come and said that they have any major complaints against it, either in the parliament or outside. So I think all in all, what I understood from all you learned folks, and especially coming in such different varieties. Like we have student representatives, we have a representative from a gig economy, a global CEO, and a global finance guy who can put together their thoughts and say that, yes, this is one budget which, if implemented well, can definitely, push and bring forward the Amrit Kal that we are looking forward to. I would now like to open the floor for question and answer from the audience, if any. If anybody wants to ask any questions, maybe through chat or other mediums. Is there a provision, Anish?
Yes, we do have.
So, yeah, let the questions flow in. I'll read out the questions and the panel may want to take it up. Okay, there is one question coming from Dr. Muhammad. I'm really surprised at why experts didn't say about reductions of education and healthcare budgets. Secondly, there is no any concrete plan regarding reduction of unemployment, which is a big issue nowadays. Why you all are not speaking about these issues? So somebody says, yeah, education, healthcare, and unemployment. These are the three things that somebody wants you to address. Who would want to take it up? Yes, Dr.
I would
Singh.
like to add for the education point of view, because it is my forte area. For best of my knowledge, the budget 2023 has given a 8% enhancement from 2022 in an education budget. So there is no reduction, rather there is an upliftment, and good number of campuses, including center universities, medical colleges, and of course the nursing colleges, has been given a green signal in this budget to be come up in over a year. So I don't think there is any lack in a educational sector from the budget point of view. Others I will open to the other panelists. Yeah.
Who would like to take up for healthcare and unemployment?
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
talk
Mr.
about
Sarda.
unemployment. So basically, usually when we talk about unemployment, there are two definitions. One is like a real general definition, and one is a political definition. So generally, political definition is more focused on government jobs as unemployment, which we should not be really concerned much as far as growing economy is concerned. We should be more bothered about overall job or earning opportunities for citizens. And for that, there are a lot of provisions in the budget. Like, upskilling, there are a lot of talk about it. There are 100 labs to be created, then AI centers to be created, seed funds have been given for startups and all. So all will create a lot of employment, a lot of jobs. So, which could be much, much more than even the government jobs. But people have to understand, or citizens have to understand, that job is not only a government job. You have to get good job and get good earning, good income and growth for yourself. So that shift has to be there. If that is understood, then there are a lot of provisions in the budget already. Just another thing I would like to add, we keep meeting a lot of corporate leaders and everybody in the different organizations. In last 20 years, I have not met anybody in HR profession or anywhere who said that they are getting employees very easily. Nobody is getting good employees easily, whatever field it is. So technically, everybody is facing scarcity on the good resources. So the challenge is not for creation of employment, it is like skilling. People are not fit to do that job. That is the challenge. And that's the root cause government is trying to address, which will create jobs in a longer run. And not like creating just 10,000 employment opportunities in the some so-and-so department, which is not going to help in long run. So I think that is very well addressed in the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Sarda. The next question talks about food subsidy. It says food subsidy has been cut by 90,000 crores, fertilizer subsidy by 50,000 crores, and petroleum subsidy by 6,900 crores. What is the effect of the same in our daily life, as well as if it falls, does it have any effect on the income of the middle class? Reduction of subsidy, does it have any effect on the income of the middle class? That's the question. Mr. Mali, would you like to take it up?
No, I think it's today till 2023 they have anyway extended for the below poverty poverty line people. They are anyway providing the food, right, for this entire year. So I think it is compensating for that.
I think it's very well answered. Yes. In fact, the reduction in subsidy was to balance the food that they were giving.
Correct.
Yeah, I would like to just add one thing here. See, basically, reduction of subsidy is a planned step. I mean, what government is proposing to take the towards the growing nation or developed nation. Ideally, we have to achieve someday zero subsidy regime.
Yeah.
It is not possible in a single day, so it has to be done in a staggered manner. I mean, wherever possible, whatever possible, if government is able to reduce the subsidies, that is going to help everybody in generating more business, more income, and everything more. I mean, so I mean that is there is no second thought about it.
And also somewhere
reducing
private
government is
participation
good.
also has to come, so you can't keep, government can't keep doing everything. So it is mutual. So.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for that answer. Now I'm going to combine the next two questions because both are coming from our students. One student is asking that the budget focus is on education. The new education policy is also implemented. How it will benefit us as a student? And the next question is the budget favorable for middle class? So over to you, gentlemen.
Okay, for the education point of view, I would like to be add on over here. This current budget is totally focusing on the new generation education system. That's why Government of India already have set the tune before they are going to bring in this budget. You see, they are promoting the center of excellences in a healthcare, in a artificial intelligence, in a blockchain, and they are looking for the digital divide, digital disruption, and digital collection. The National Digital Library for the child also, for the higher education, we are already having more than 200 crores of books, audio as well as the 200 languages books available free of cost. This is what the budget goes where. Because budget goes for the clouds uses, budget go for the digitalization. It is going to be a great takeaway for my learners because the gross enrollment ratio started from the 26%, we have to reach to the 50% by end of 2030. That's why this budget is going to be one of the strong pillar to giving the easy access to the learners through their digital world. This is what from the education side, I would like to be add on this.
I think that was a great answer. So as a student, I'm going to get a lot of free digital content is what you are saying. And I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And the next question is it favorable to middle class? Please keep it close-ended. Tell me a yes or a no.
Yes, it is favorable.
Yeah, so I'll just take it. So I mean, usually in the budget, what we see, I mean, the lot of manipulation or fun they do with the duties. So some duties increase, some is reduced, another increase, another reduced, and you will see like 100 products price increase, 100 products price decrease. This year, the direction was pretty much clear. Almost everywhere duty was reduced, except I think cigarettes or something. So technically, this will have effect on almost each and every item, directly or indirectly, where you will see reduction in prices over the period of time. Of course, it does not reflect tomorrow morning, but it will have impact on reduction of prices on almost everything, which is going to be very, very beneficial for all middle class.
Okay, now here is the last question for the day. It's again by one of our students, Deepa Sharma. When our neighboring economies are having a downfall and even a country like England is facing the economic crisis, so how are we going to achieve the estimated GDP or reduction in deficit?
Okay, I'll quickly answer this. So basically, see, actually there is no direct correlation. I mean, whether we will be able to achieve GDP or our deficit projections, it is not directly related to some country failing or not. That way, we have to build our own strong base. I mean, on what basis we are building the GDP? What are our inputs in it, and how much is contributed by England or Sri Lanka or Pakistan? We don't know. So, I mean, only that component will be affected. That is like a negative impact. But at the same time, there is a positive impact also. Because, see, somebody is failing, that gives the opportunity to others who are strong foothold to grow faster. So, actually, India is getting favorable environment from others. Of course, I mean, I'm not wishing for other countries to fail. But like if they are failing, that is going to definitely add value to India to grow fast.
And also Atmanirbhar Bharat is also because of that. I mean, like if you look at today, 80%, earlier if we are spending 100 rupees on defense, today we are 20% is being met by in-house arms. So, you know, these are things that will allow us to increase our fiscal deficit.
Yes, I will sum up in one line. The GDP, the economy of the country, which has a very strong say from political stability, of course, political will and political execution model. And luckily, presently, we are blessed that we have the very strong political stability and of course, their policy with the execution model. That's why our economy is in a safe hand. And that's why we can show to the world, yes, this is the reason. Otherwise, England is not a bad country. It's the very oldest country. Even the Sri Lanka and Pakistan. I have no words for that. But the point is that how strong our driver is, how strong our leader is. That's the point. That's the point. Thank you.
And I would like to add one point from my side. What we are looking for, one innovative way in which we are going to meet our GDP or deficit target is that for the first time in this country, we are looking at exports as a serious revenue model. Look at the number of iPhones and EVs going out pretty soon. Within this year, I'm sure, apart from being number one in population, we are also going to be number one exporter very, very soon. So there are a few two questions, but they're more academic in nature. I would still like to pose them. If you wish to answer, it's okay. If you wish to pass, it's perfectly fine. Somebody is asking me, please provide proper brief between old tax regime and new tax regime. I would seriously say, please look it up on the internet or Twitter. I myself have posted a table which clearly explains what is the break-even point and whether you should opt for new or old. And the last one is whether income above 7 lakhs is taxable under old and new tax regime. Would anybody like to take it up? Because both are technical questions. I mean, the straight answer is yes. In both regimes above 7 lakhs, it is taxable. I mean, the amount varies because depending in the old regime, if you're putting more in ATC and other places, your tax will be less. But in new regime, you have more disposable income in your hand. It's clear. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to hand it over now to Mr. Nainesh Deshpande, Head Communities and Events at Next Gen Innovate, to deliver his thank you speech to this wonderful and esteemed panel which simplified the budget for us today. Over to you, Nainesh. You got to unmute.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you for your experience, which made this panel very deeply thoughtful and which made gave us the clearance even from the students to the people who are listening, to the corporates, to the educationalists. Everyone can understand, and it is simplified. Only I can take, which I understood, is this is the progressive budget of our India, or we can say our Bharat. And this is something that we can look forward, a youth of this country can look forward, a corporate can look forward to invest, to save, and to progress. So I would like to thank all the esteemed panelists, Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna sir, Mr. Sanjay Sarda sir, Mr. Mahantesh sir, and Dr. Sandeep Pachpande sir, even all the students who are more than 1,000 students sitting at 4 different classrooms of ASM group of institutes. So I would like to thank all those students and all the participants, professors, our host for today, my marketing manager, my colleague Neha, our backend team, Aishwarya and Rahul, to bring all of this together. And thank you. I would like to thank all of you once again to put your thoughts and taking your time. Looking forward to have further more discussions with our different events coming together on board. And finally, I will say that yes, we are having our quarterly newsletters which are coming in. So I will request all of you to please subscribe. The link will be given in the chat. Thank you. Thank you once again. By this, I can say this budget dialogue of webinar is come to an end. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.